Hi, this is JP Morgan.
And this is Kenneth Merrill.
Today on the Slanted Lens, we're going to talk about a new Canon rumor. We can't not talk about this. We have to talk about this because for me it's very exciting. But they're talking about an EOS R5.
And it's not just a rumor. Canon did kind of do like a preliminary announcement. There were some rumors, and then a few days later, Canon says, no, we really are making a new R5 with some very exciting specs that Canon has confirmed.
So what do we know about the camera?
Well, we know the headliners are 8K video.
Which is fabulous.
Crazy. I know Canon has been working on 8K video for a long time. They've had that sort of prototype C500 style body at NAB a couple of years.
So it's a new sensor. It's going to be a new sensor.
Theoretically, I guess you would have to.
I'm thinking it is. I think the rumors are that it's a new sensor.
And then it's going to have IBIS, which is huge. IBIS is going to be really great. I mean, it's almost becoming standard with all these mirrorless cameras.
It is.
You have to include it. And Canon didn't have it in the R, but they will have it in this, and I think that's a really, really big advantage.
That's a big step forward, absolutely. It also has 12 frames a second with the mechanical shutter and 20 frames a second with the electronic shutter. Which makes me wonder about the Olympics coming.
Well, what's curious to me is the 1DX Mark III that was just released.
Almost the same spec.
Basically the same specs. It's very and well, we'll get into the megapixel thing in a second, but I imagine if it's an 8K video camera, it's going to have a pretty high megapixel sensor. So I'm just mind blown about how they're going to achieve.
How they're going to do both those?
How they're going to do both those things. We'll see.
Yeah. But it does make me think of the Olympics because most camera companies like to have a good showing at the Olympics and have their cameras being used at the Olympics because it kind of becomes the standard in the prosumer world of, well, who's a camera at the Olympics?
Shooting Canon at the Olympics.
Absolutely. And so we've seen a lot of things from the camera companies in the last year or so getting ready for the Olympics. So I kind of feel like this might be ready in time for the Olympics, and maybe that's their goal. When are the Olympics? Is it this summer in July?
This summer, yeah. 2020.
Yeah.
The other thing that is confirmed, the last thing they've confirmed is it does have dual card slots, which
everyone hated about the EOS R, you know, and they definitely needed that. They did say this, and this is a direct quote from the on page 13 on Canon's report. It says, although we have launched 2 full-frame mirrorless cameras as well as 10 dedicated lenses, our lineup is still insufficient. In order to recover from our late entry into the mirrorless camera market, we have plans to launch a model that incorporates a newly developed image sensor, so there's a new image sensor, and image processing engine that offer even more advanced features. So there's the engine to be able to process in that higher, and I'm hoping that it has like a 38 megapixel. I'd love it if it was a 45 megapixel, you know, to compete with more with the Sony.
So we've talked about what we know for sure that they've confirmed, but there were a bunch of rumors that came before about what would be in development, and some of those rumors were confirmed. So now some people are thinking maybe these are true. I wouldn't get my hopes up too high because we all know how that goes with Canon. But here are the rumors, and the first one is that it's going to be a 45 megapixel camera,
which would be awesome.
That would be cool. Yeah,
especially at that frame rate.
Oh, I just don't know how.
How do you pull that off?
But who knows? Other rumors: they supposedly have a scroll wheel now and no touch bar, which would be huge. I mean,
the touch bar is going away. Everyone knows it didn't work.
Really bad. So yeah, bring back the scroll wheel. I would love that. I would even love a wheel on the back like the Nikon and the Sony.
Yeah, it would be really nice.
To that. It's hard to go back to.
Well, they lost that wheel from the 5D Mark III or Mark IV on the EOS R,
right.
And I think they're going to bring that back.
I think they just didn't have enough real estate on the R. So I'm also curious, maybe the body's going to be bigger on this camera. Who knows?
That's really interesting because you saw it with the Panasonic, the S1, is that mirrorless cameras are getting a little bigger again.
Yeah.
Because they're trying to make sure of heat issues with regards to being able to shoot video. So they're going to get a little larger.
Yeah.
And also, large battery capacity is a rumor we've heard.
Yeah.
Although I've not been unhappy with the LP6 batteries. I've not had any problems. They give me a long lifetime.
But if you're shooting double the megapixels, you know, or you're
8K video,
stuff, a lot more power consumption. So I would be glad to see, you know, real high capacity battery that can handle that.
But what Canon does, though, is the 1DX Mark III has those large batteries, huge, and I don't want to see the camera get that big. Right. I would rather not see it get that big. I'd rather see it be a little smaller form factor than that, because I think that just becomes pretty major.
Yeah.
It's hard to fly that in a gimbal. It's not as friendly as a B-roll camera, I don't think, on set.
I agree. Now, in terms of video, the rumors are pretty, honestly, outrageous to me. I think they're saying that it's going to shoot 8K up to 30 frames, which that makes sense, but 4K up to 120 frames. That would be
incredible.
We just barely achieved 4K at 60 frames with the Panasonic S1H. So I do have a hard time believing that, to be honest. But who knows? I mean, if it's shooting this much imagery this fast, as these specs are saying, maybe it could handle 4K 120.
As far as the codecs go, I'm hoping that it at least has a 10-bit 422 internal, but it would be great at least if it had a 10-bit 422 external external out. So
yeah, I'm very curious to see what the codec's like. I mean, with these mirrorless cameras, we're so used to just seeing 8-bit video, and I'm really kind of done with that. I hate shooting 8-bit, and if you're gonna shoot, and that's the thing, if you're shooting 8K, 10-bit 8K would be massive. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah,
it might be
that'd
an
be
external
tough.
thing, but then again, you do have the 1DX Mark III that's shooting 5.5K raw internally, which is insane. So maybe we're looking at a totally new generation of Canon cameras that are just way more powerhouse, like, you know.
Well, I think Panasonic has set that bar, and Panasonic being approved by Netflix means that if you want your camera to get into this world and to be able to shoot this kind of run and gun, indie kind of film types of things, you got to get a camera that gives you a 10-bit 422 internal recording. And I think that Canon would be so wise to step up to that with this mirrorless platform, because it's mirrorless, you can make it a little bit larger and have the capacity, whereas a DSLR makes it very difficult to be able to deliver that.
Another thing too is I'm really excited by this because the Canon RF mount is pretty cool. I mean, the RF lenses are great. They're super expensive, which is a whole different challenge. But they have those adapters, and there's the RF adapter with the built-in variable ND.
Yeah, which is really
awesome.
nice.
You know, so my complaint shooting with DSLR or mirrorless style cameras these days is they don't have built-in NDs. The cameras I'm used to using on set all use built-in ND filters, and it's so handy to have that. And so it's always kind of a pain to go back. The S1H, I use a variable ND on the front. I just kind of bite the bullet. But if I could have the best of both worlds, where I have a body that's shooting really high quality video footage, and I can just put on an adapter, an EF mount adapter that has a built-in ND, and use my EF Leica lenses, you know, that would be awesome.
Well, I have the EOS R, and I love it, and I use it all the time. I do not use that ring in the front. I set it for aperture, and it's not a comfortable place for me to get for my aperture, so I still use the wheels most of the time. But I am going to get the NDs, because that would be the perfect place, because it's not something you're changing on a regular basis, you know, but would be the perfect place to be able to give you an ND, to be able to if you want to blur water for doing stills, if you want to do video and knock down the background. I mean, it's a perfect place to do that with, and I think that makes a lot of sense. So why haven't I bought that? I'm heading over to Sammy's right now.
I am just super excited to see how this camera turns out, especially with the cameras that Canon's been releasing in the last year. I think they've finally woken up to the crisis that they're facing in the near future, as companies like Sony and Panasonic and even Nikon, Sigma are starting to move beyond them in an industry that they used to own.
Yeah.
I think they're finally realizing, oh, actually, we do have to serve our customers more than we have been for the last 10 years.
Well, the last thing that is on my wish list is I hope they give some kind of a sound module with this camera. That Canon would make it nice with some great preamps, so you can do a couple XLRs on there, and then this becomes a nice video camera setup. It's incredible.
That would be nice.
Yeah. So there's some thoughts on what we hope for, what we know, and we'll just look to see what happens in the future, and we'll stay tuned and bring that to you as soon as we find out. So keep those cameras rolling.
And keep on.